Hi, here's how to install Windows 95 on Oracle and to get Detective Barbie 2 up and running on it. I'm going to go through all of the links in this written tutorial here, and throughout the video you might notice that there's some fake news in this written tutorial. I did update it, so as soon as this video releases, it should be the most up-to-date information I have. Also, the 256 colors disk is now a normal archive.org disk, so that should be fine. And installing 7-zip might not be necessary on Windows 11. I'm still going to show how to use the program, but I was never actually prompted to use it to extract 7Z file types. So that might be relevant to you if you don't want to install unnecessary applications, which is very fair. It's sort of an old app. At this point, I recommend making a Windows 95 folder to put all of your stuff into, just so you can have access to this if you ever want to make another Windows 95. You know, you won't have to find all of these links again, and it makes it easier for setting up your system because Oracle is pulling from the same folder for everything. Also, in the new links, you might have noticed there's Fix95, which I should have had, but I forgot that it was necessary for some people until I upgraded my computer. So to check if you need this, at the bottom, type in Settings, then on the left-hand side, you'll see something that says System, click into that. Scroll down to the bottom of System, click About, and then in About there's Device Specifications. Look at your processor and look at the right hand side where it says gigahertz. If that is at 2.1 or above 2.1 gigahertz, you will need to install Fix95. And I do show how to use Fix95 in this tutorial. Once you get into Oracle, click New, name it whatever you want. If you name it Windows 95 or Win95, it will automatically select the version. So that's definitely easier than going through the drop-down. At this point, you can change your base memory, which I skipped past, to 512. I have to change it at a later point to be something higher than 64. I think it works at 64 technically, but changing it now just might help some issues because I was on the struggle bus. And then next, I also changed my display and changed the video memory to 18 megabits at least. I'm not sure what this affects, but websites said it was good. And now onto the fun part, where after you click into settings and you change those two things, then you go to storage. You go to the save icon looking thing under floppy, and then to the right of it, to the right of it, you'll see that little tiny picture next to the file name, sort of, next to floppy device 0, sorry. And then you choose your file, and this is where it's useful to have one Windows 95 install folder because you can pretty easily navigate to everything. I also try to show that it's an IMG file, but I kind of struggle a little bit, but I just wanted to show that it's not an ISO file. An ISO file is a disk, and they are different for the purposes of this setup and going forward in your Windows 95 virtual machine. And to mount the Windows 95 setup disk, I do the same process essentially as the floppy. Select OK after you've done all of that, and I will say in my written tutorial I have a little segment on the buttons of Oracle and what they do. So this one is called the host key button. It lets you take your mouse out of the Windows 95 window and into your Windows 11. It's usually a right control, but Microsoft replaced my right control button with an AI button, so I had to change mine to plain control. It's an easy thing to change, but if you don't do it now and you forget what your host key is, escaping scaled mode, which helps you see the screen better, is a lot more annoying. I'm going to zoom in for the segments where I type, but I really recommend looking at the written tutorial if you need some more clarity. I am gonna say everything I do, but yeah. So hit enter for load. I think you hit enter after this too, but it might go automatically. It doesn't matter though, just leave it default. Then here you type in F disk, ending in a K. Hit Y to enable large disk support. Hit enter on option 1 and enter again on the next option 1. Y for maximum disk size, enter. It will prompt you to restart, so to do that, hit your host key, then you go to machine and reset. This just restarts your computer. Do the same thing you did before, hitting enter on these two options, but instead when you get here, format, space, capital C, colon. Hit Y to proceed with the format, enter for no volume characters. It's going to take a while to get to that prompt, but yeah, enter for none. So from here, you type in space, capital C, colon, mkdir space Win95, cd space Win95, copy capital D colon backslash Win95. It usually is in D drive, the Win95 setup, but it might not be. Just, you have to check that if that command doesn't work. And then you type in setup right after that. I was talking, but I typed in setup. And that's the last command you have to type. Congrats. I left everything default before this. And you just type in the certificate of authenticity. You can't copy paste it, at least not in Oracle, I don't believe. This isn't important, it just has to be filled out. Make sure you check the sound card at least. I'm not certain the network adapter part is important, but you need the sound card to hear the game, which is pretty important, I think. Click no on the startup disk. That's important. So here, after I exited scaled mode, I hit that save disk icon and I removed the floppy, which is important for the setup. And after this, what you need to do, well, first of all, I'm going to show you the error you get if your system is too fast. At least potentially what the issue is. There are lots of things that can go wrong. But I just want to show you like the proof, I guess, that this is a real issue. And again, there's a link to the boot drive in my tutorial and the description. At that point though, if you want to skip all of this and just have it downloaded, after you eject that first floppy, you can just add the Fix95 floppy and remove, after you do the floppy stuff, then you need to remove the Windows 95 setup disk because you don't want there to be weird interference. I think it's just bad luck. And then you can restart it, like, and keep the virtual machine turned on. I don't do that process in this tutorial because I was struggling, but if you know ahead and you can plan for it, it's really simple just to swap out the floppies, remove the setup disk, go through the process of doing the Fix95, and then yeah, I'll just show you. I'll just show you. I'm getting ahead of myself. Make sure to remove the floppy disk the same way you added it in like settings before, and make sure to have the Fix95 in your Windows folder. And the setup for this is super duper uber simple. So you're going to hit enter to continue, hit no because that's just the readme file, and then you just restart your computer. I believe restarting it is important before you eject the floppy, but then you can reinsert your Windows 95 setup disk, the ISO, because again, you're still in the middle of setup. And that is important to do it while you're in the middle of setup, for sure. But yeah, thankfully it can just keep going as normal. And I'm just following all the prompts it gives me. There's nothing super crazy important happening right now. And now at this point, type in whatever name you want to log in with. Leave the password area blank because that's annoying and this is a fake machine. It's gonna make you try to set up internet, but you can just restart the virtual machine like from within the environment, like using the start button. And I just do that because there's no point in even pretending it's gonna work because it always fails at 78%. And I don't know how to set up the internet, so if you want that, you have to follow someone else's tutorial because I have no clue how to make the internet work in virtual machines. So here, after you get in, there'll be a pop-up with Active Desk. I hit X on it, and you can also right-click, click Active Desk and Show as Web Page, and that makes it pop up as a proper window. Now here, what you'll want to do is, well, you can do it from this, which I guess I did. Go to your CD icon, choose Disk File, and choose the 256 colors ISO. I thought I was going to use the Devices menu from the top of Oracle, but I guess I didn't. Oops. This lets you access high color 16-bit on your virtual machine, which is mandatory to play Detective Barbie 2, because if you don't enter high color 16-bit, it shows a D2 error, which I thought was a DirectX error, but it's a display error. I don't know how that correlates, but yeah. So right click, go to Properties, go to Settings, go to Advanced Properties, then go to Monitor, go to Change. On the right hand side, fourth one down, there will be Plug and Play. Click OK, click Apply, click Apply, come on, click Apply. Awesome. And you can just go to Adapter after this, but I closed out accidentally. So go to Adapter, hit Change, go to Have Disk, go to Browse. Mine mounted on G for some reason at the bottom, Devices, but yours might mount somewhere else. Click that, click that, click that. Go to the long string of numbers or letters and characters. Go to Uni, and there's the .inf file on the left hand side. Click OK. In like the top of this pop-up. Please. Cool. Click OK there. Like just leave that default. It's okay. Click OK. Cool. Click Apply. Click OK. And there's going to be an error. This is very normal. It will pop up again. And you have to restart your virtual machine at this point. I don't remember having to restart it too many times, but again, like it just changes each time you set it up, I feel like. Like sometimes you have to restart it manually through Oracle, sometimes you can just like do all your restarts from the Windows 95 environment. It just really depends, and just be persistent, be strong. So once you can right click and go to Properties again, go to Settings. Everything is set up, thankfully, so now you can change your desktop first, maybe? It didn't let me do this, so I changed my color mode first. And again, the highest you'll need to go for Detective Barbie 2 is 16-bit. Again, it might make you restart more times than you want. This is okay, it's normal. I don't really know what else to say besides that. And you can make the screen as large as you want, but at a certain point, there's not much that can be done, especially if you're on a really pixel-dense display, because unless you enter scaled mode, it's just not going to work properly, because you can add as many pixels as you want, but the text is still so tiny. I mean, you can even see. At the top of the Oracle menu, I selected Devices and Optical Drives, and that's ISO files, and I hit Detective Barbie 2. So I installed it from there, I hit Next, maximum disk size, Next, Installed DirectX 6.1 from this because you don't have that pre-installed when you build Windows. The only thing I hit X on was the registration prompt because there's no Wi-Fi, I can't register, and I restart with the prompt it gives me. And I'm also going to show you what a D2 error looks like, because if you get that error, that just means you're in the wrong display mode, and it's not always obvious you're in the wrong display mode. So it's going to try to load, and oh, location code 2. So you right click, go to your properties again, and you just go to the correct color mode, restart, and play the game from there. I am going to show this game working, but I'm also going to show potential ways to solve some issues in this, and I also want to explain why you need to be careful with Barbie's screen styler. I don't know if this has always been an issue, what I'm going to talk about, but when I was messing with this, I noticed it happening. Oh wow, I'm in the game, and oh wow, it's not crashing, wow, wow. So the issue with Barbie's screen styler, and Detective Barbie 2 specifically, I haven't tested any other apps, is that both of them love hogging the sound card, I believe. This is a theory. So whenever you click on one, you cannot click on the other, and vice versa. So let's say you install Barbie Screen Styler, you customized your background, and you want to play Detective Barbie 2. Oh no, it sounds awful, and you have to reinstall the game for the sound to ever work properly again. That's not ideal. So just make sure in between using these two programs to just restart before interacting, because there will be issues otherwise. Also, I'm going to show an issue. I think this was a problem because I deleted Screen Styler and tried reinstalling it on the same VM, so it wouldn't let me change the background. So yeah, just right click properties and you'll see the background you tried to set. Again, not sure exactly what triggers this problem, but it's not normal, and like, this was the only time in my messing with this Windows 95, which I messed with them for a long time, that it happened. And here's the next issue. All I'm doing here is showing you where the D2 exe is and how to make the shortcut. Also, I went to computer, I right click to get to explore, and then the D2, I right click, create shortcut, and oh my god, it works. That's so crazy. This problem is more fun. I'm gonna show you how to uninstall a program. Go to my computer, go to control panel, go to add remove programs, and click Detective Barbie 2. And it just follow the setup prompts, the uninstall prompts, and it works. Wow, that's so crazy. This is if you want to install this game from a folder and not from the disk. So go to View, go to Folder Options, go to View again, and look at Hidden Files and make sure Show All Files is on. This is off by default. I had just done this prior to recording. Select all of them, click the copy button at the top, unless you have Control-C, which I don't have. Thank you, Windows 11 and your AI key. Love you, babe. Right click, go to New, click Folder, name it whatever you want. It's pretty irrelevant. You could even put all the files in the main bulk, I think, but putting it in its own folder is neat. Click the Paste button at the top, and all of the files will go in here. I also just want to say, you can comment issues you have, but most likely the comment I reply to you will be from a 10-minute research session. There are lots of resources online for very esoteric issues. I'd recommend them first before me. Also, not to plug a random Discord I'm in, but if you join the Barbie speedrunning server or add me as a friend personally on Discord, you'll have a much better chance of getting better help from me. It's still not guaranteed that I'll actually know what the problem is, but I'll just be able to like communicate with you more effectively. So yeah, and here I'm just ejecting the disk and just proving that I'm installing it. Not from there, sweetie, from the setup. But this process should go normally. Then, after your restart, you click on it and oh my god, it works!